Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be recreating famous logos in calligraphy. This is actually a video that I wanted to make for a really long time, and it's been on my list, and for some reason I haven't done it. But I was really excited to make this today because I'm actually partnering with Arteza again, and they have provided all of the art supplies that I'm going to be using in this video. So if you have any questions or you want to refer to anything that I'm using in today's video, you can go ahead and check the description box down below. This is also the last video that I'm going to be filming in this room, which is really sad because I'm moving next week, and this room has been such a special place for me. I really loved living in this apartment. I think mostly because it's not a very big space, but it has these two big picture windows that just let in so much natural light, and not only is it good for filming, obviously, but I'm someone who likes to spend a lot of time working in my space, and so having so much natural light is so important to me. So hopefully in the next apartment that I live in, I'll be able to create a space like this that makes me so happy. But I've also been adopting a lot of plants recently, and if you take a look at my windowsill right now, you can see that I've kind of gone a little bit crazy, and I've had to start consolidating them into different pots because there's physically not enough space for them on my windowsill. So I'm a bit concerned that when I move to my next apartment, I'm not gonna have a big windowsill like this, so I hope there's enough natural light for them to live. Anyways, let's get into the video. So the first thing that I really want to do is just go through all of the different supplies that Arteza has sent over, because I got the box a few days ago, but I haven't had a chance to really go through and see everything yet. And they sent over some really cool stuff, so I'm very interested to try it out. I think what I'm actually most excited for are these sketchbooks, because look how big these things are. It's an 11 by 14 inch watercolor pad, and it's actually 140 pound paper, which is super thick. So the first thing I should do, honestly, I think is just do some swatches. We've got a mix of some watercolors, some gouache paints, we've got watercolor pencils. I think the most interesting thing we've got is these water-based brush pens, because the brushes are actually made of real brush fibers. They're not like felt tip brush pens. These actually have a very interesting texture to them, because as you can see, the real brush fibers actually create this really cool sort of negative space. It's not just a solid swatch. There's a little bit of texture created there, which I think is actually really neat. Next, I want to swatch some of these watercolor pencils. They say expert level, so I guess we're just diving in the deep end here, guys. I don't want to mess up the order because I feel like this would be such a pretty Instagram picture. Is that dumb? I do not honestly have a lot of experience with watercolor pencils, only because I've never really owned any. But what I can tell you is these feel very soft on the paper, and I think that's because when you wet them, they kind of blend a little bit, so we'll test that out here in a little bit. Okay, next I gotta grab my paint palette because I want to test out the watercolors and the gouache paints. I like to try to swatch similar colors of each thing so it's easier to compare them. These are called the premium watercolors. Testing out new art supplies has got to be one of the best things in the world. Is that just me? It's just such a good feeling to just like dip into a new paint. How do people keep their watercolor water clean? Does anyone have a pro tip for me on that? Because I have so much trouble keeping my watercolor water from getting super dirty like right away. Guys, I know when I'm filming these videos, it looks like beautiful and clean and white, but what you don't see is that beyond this little screen here, it's just chaos. It's absolute chaos everywhere. Also, look what color my water is right now. These look so similar to the watercolors, and I always get into this trouble when I'm painting with gouache and watercolors near each other because the tubes look the exact same. Also, if you're curious about what gouache paint actually is, because I feel like it's one of the lesser known types of paint. It's essentially just the love child of watercolors and acrylic paints. So you can dilute it with water and re-wet it and rework it, but it's also got some opaqueness to it so it can cover other things. Okay, now it's time for our regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so the first logo that I'm going to be recreating is the McDonald's logo, and I think the best way to go about this is to sketch it out in pencil first and then go in with my art supplies and colorize it. So I think for this logo I want to do a really kind of loop-de-loop scripty font, because as you can see in the traditional logo, the letters are just very basic. This looks like it could be Arial, so I'm just gonna really exaggerate all of the loops. I also kind of want to play off of the golden arches concept, so see how there's like almost a little bit of shadowing that they're creating here with this, so I want to sort of try to mimic that as well. Also, I apologize if my voice is weird or raspy or low, but I've been getting over a cold for like a week now and it won't go away, so we're just gonna have to deal with it. So I'm pretty happy with the way that this ended up turning out. By adding that second white stroke on the left side of the yellow lettering, I feel like that really helped give it a little bit of dimension and kind of sell the whole McDonald's look. So I'm really happy with the way that this looks. So the next logo that I want to recreate is the old Walmart logo, so not the one where they sort of modernized the font and added this yellow star, but this old one where it was all caps and they had this blue star in the middle here. And for this one, I think I'm actually gonna go in with these watercolor pencils because I think that's gonna give it a really cool texture. The cool thing about calligraphy is that just one or two really heavily flourished letters can make such a big difference in a piece of art, so not all of your letters have to have a ton of accents or flourishing on them to really make a statement. For this one, I'm really just focusing on the W and the M. So I like the way this looks, but I really want to test out how these pencils react when you add just a little bit of water. Oh wow. So they actually almost just turn right into like watercolor paint when you just add a little bit of water, which is pretty cool. So I think I'm just gonna go in and just go through all of the pencil and wet it so it sort of blends and gives that really cool watercolor effect. I really like the way that the water is interacting with these colored pencils, and I'm looking forward to playing with them more because I think it would be really interesting to paint like a sunset or something just in pencils and then get it wet and try to blend all of the colors together. But overall, I'm really happy with how this Walmart logo turned out. So to finish out the color trio, I feel like we should do something in red. Originally, I was thinking of Coca-Cola, but that one's actually already written in calligraphy. I feel like this one would be really cool to recreate in calligraphy because of the two big K's. I think we could really do something fun with that. I'm sort of testing out this new method of filming where I am shooting top down, but instead of recording the voiceover afterwards, I'm just doing it as I go, so I hope you guys don't mind that. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you're curious about where you can find more content from me, you can follow me on Instagram. I will have my handle right here, and it's always down in the description box of all my videos as well. I also just started sending out a monthly newsletter a couple of months ago, so if you're interested in staying in the loop with some projects that I've been working on recently, you can send me a direct message on Instagram with your email address and I will add you to my newsletter list. You can also find a sign-up form on my website, and as always, that will be in the description box as well. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!